Hi everyone, welcome to our 2021 Black Friday Cyber Monday Teardown. My name is Claudia and I head up our partnerships here in EMEA for Klevu. Klevu is an AI-powered product discovery suite. So today we're going to spend some time delving into Black Friday Cyber Monday with some industry experts that I'm super excited to have on the call. 2020 was quite a year and definitely one for the history books. I'm sure you can all agree. But for e-commerce, so much demand was pulled through into 2020 and a great year was had by many, many merchants. But I think the big question going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday this year was whether the trends that emerged last year would continue or change as retailers return to the new normal. So firstly, let's introduce our great panelists. I'd love to hear whether you actually bought anything over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and any personal experiences. So shall we start with you, Ollie?
Thanks, Claudia. So I'm Ollie. I'm the head of data and insight at Space 48. And I've been obviously asked to join the panel and discuss Black Friday. I didn't actually buy anything on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Myself personally, no. So it's probably one of the first times that I've never done so. Wasn't any particular reason. I was busy with different things, but no. I'm one to say I didn't purchase over that weekend.
Nothing at all. Did you browse or did you have a
browsed, but didn't actually make any Black Friday specific or Cyber Monday specific purchases, if that makes sense. So
very interesting.
First time in a long time.
Yeah. Do you think that was because maybe the discounts weren't what you expected? Like, do you think there's any reason behind that?
It was more that I had a few different ththings in mind that I needed to get, and I couldn't get them as part of the deal. So I thought, well, I'll wait anyway and get them at a more timely purchase date. So just it was unusual, particularly the role that I'm in. I was expecting to be all over shopping on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but no, first time in a long time.
Very interesting. Well, we can delve into that a bit further after, I think. Lauren, it'd be great to hear from you as well.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Lauren. I am a junior account director at Vervaunt. We are a paid media and ecomm agency. I've been in paid media for about 6 years now. But yeah, in terms of Black Friday, I actually did buy a couple of things, but I was really disappointed because there wasn't a big sale. So I waited until Black Friday, hoping that there would be a larger discount. And there wasn't. So I was like, I could have just bought it beforehand. And I feel like a lot of items did go out of stock. But overall, it was a good experience. I feel like I got bombarded with a lot of emails, especially all the way through to Cyber Monday. So I kind of wish I bought more because now I feel like all the discounts are pretty much gone. So
I think from my perspective as well, I bought for the sake of buying. So I actually bought £900 worth of clothes on ASOS on Klarna because I actually didn't want to pay for it. I wanted to buy it later, but I was just buying it because I felt like I wanted to be part of it as opposed to I actually wanted the items. So I think it's quite interesting the different ways that people do shop around this period. And what about you, Fiona?
Hi, I'm Fiona, head of marketing at LoyaltyLine. We're a data-driven loyalty and engagement platform for Shopify, Shopify Plus, BigCommerce, and Magento merchants. I have to be honest, I didn't shop either. I went online and I had a little look, and I got overwhelmed, and I lost interest. And I think I'm very impatient as well. So if I couldn't easily see something that I wanted, I wasn't going to trawl through all of the offers to find the right thing. But I'm absolutely kicking myself because this week I'm doing all of my Christmas shopping, and realistically, I could have saved myself a ton of money if I'd have just got there, but it felt too early to think about Christmas last week. So
we're already kind of in December, but and how about you, Olivia?
Hey, nice to meet you all. I'm Olivia. I work at BigCommerce. I manage the MarTech and shipping technology partners. Black Friday, I had the best intentions of buying my family Christmas presents. But then I went online, I got overwhelmed, and I bought so much stuff for myself, all health and beauty. Actually, I found myself in a Space NK on my lunch break, and I got upsold everything. It was 20% off, an absolute dream come true. So yeah, best intentions, but spent it all on myself.
That's the way to do it. I think one thing I noticed was a few businesses shifted from doing like heavy discounts going over to more like I saw a lot of like donations, more charitable, more sustainable sort of strategies that companies are implementing. There was a really interesting one on Pangaea, and they're like a sustainable fashion and lifestyle brand, and all their products are made from like innovative tech, bioengineered materials, and they actually called Black Friday Blue Friday. So they shifted the focus from sales to the planet, and they were like telling people to pause and think before actually buying, which I thought was really interesting. And they for every product you purchase, they planted like 3 more trees, which I thought was really nice. And I think, Fiona, in terms of like discounts, and I saw your playbook that you guys released, did you see a lot of merchants going more down the incentives, the loyalty route, as opposed to just doing flat discounts? What did that look like for you guys?
We did actually. It was interesting. As you say, the playbook that we released earlier in the year showed that actually consumers they don't really trust discounts that much, but they would respond as well to things like charitable initiatives or early access to sales and other incentives that you can offer. So it was really good to see some merchants doing that. And I think a lot of people may have gone down that alternative experience route actually for supply chain issues as well. You know, if you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to deliver all the products that you're discounting, then better to not do those discounts in the first place. So we absolutely saw a lot more of that. And interestingly, the people that were offering charitable donations through their loyalty programs. So for example, we have people who, a dog food brand, for example, when you buy the dog food, you donate, you can redeem your reward in the form of a donation to a dog shelter. We saw a lot more of that kind of activity, and those rewards were redeemed, I think, 4 times more than the typical monetary rewards. So yeah, a lot of people, I think, were able to use it as an opportunity to move slightly further away from discounting. Which
do you think there's a certain demographic that appeals to more when it comes to charitable donations?
I think it depends what you're selling, and it depends how naturally it fits. So if you're Pangaea and you're selling sustainable products, great, you can, plant trees and it makes perfect sense with your product. If you're a dog food brand, you can give to a dog shelter, and again, the alignment's really there. I think it's harder if you're selling bikes or cycling stuff and you don't have a charitable cause or a planet. I don't know what the right word is, planetary based sustainability, whatever the right word is. If you don't have that alignment with your customers on that thing that you believe in, it's a lot harder to do. Because I think customers don't want to see you doing it for the sake of it. They want you to do it because it's something you genuinely really support and something you genuinely care about, that they care about too. So I think not necessarily a demographic, but you have to have a commonality in something that you both believe in for it to work well.
And Ollie, how did your clients find Black Friday, Cyber Monday? Any interesting stories there to share?
Yeah, I think what we saw was a bit of a mixed bag, and it really depended on both the industry and the businesses themselves. So a lot of businesses that we work with are omnichannel, so they've got stores as well as online presence, and they maybe do telesales and live chat, things like that. They experienced good results against previous years because there was more of a cross section of where they could purchase, and it was more of a normal experience. So they saw some really good results. Other customers that were pure play online, some of them were I guess I anticipated a weaker 2021 for retailers like that, or for a lot of them, compared to 2020, and that's typically what we saw most of the time. They didn't grow against 2020, but they did definitely beat 2019. So pure play online, we saw it where it was a bit up and down, but more I guess down against previous year, whereas omnichannel retailers, we saw them progress and improve against 2020, which is a little bit of a weird one because it seems like a contradiction to the general consensus of what's been being talked about in Black Friday. When you look at the reading that it was the biggest and best Black Friday ever, and I can see why it was, because obviously stores were back open, but I don't think that applied to every retailer. Just depend on their situation, and again, like you were talking about, supply chain, availability of stock and things like that as well.
I think there was a lot of like hype around it. Like we definitely saw some verticals did better than others. Like we actually saw electronics were down, and I think during lockdown when people were saving money, I made some really big purchases then, which I now don't need another television. So, and like luggage and bags went up significantly. Again, people are traveling. Like, did you see any like particular vertical that really won out?
I think as Olivia kind of alluded to, that health and beauty did well. cosmetics, things like that. That all did well. But that typically does well regardless because of the replenishment factor of it anyway. So people are just taking advantage of that. I think a couple of surprises, like I say, some of the more considered commerce purchases like bathrooms and things like that actually did well, but it was because they've got stores to support that. And so it was because the stores reopening against 2020 was and it's a type of experiential product where you want to go and see and touch and feel that type of product. So having stores helped the sales.
And how about you, Lauren? Any clients that did really well for you guys, or any trends that you saw across your portfolio? It'd be great to hear some insights there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So at Vervaunt, we do have a lot of fashion brands. And it was quite interesting, actually, because we did see overall conversion rates drop year on year, and likewise with engagement, but saying that a lot of our brands shifted from doing sales. So the likes of Pangaea, one of our clients, they ended up, planting trees instead and increasing that and not really promoting any sales. And a lot of our other clients did the same. So it was mainly the fashion brands that we saw, but also in particular the brands that did focus more on sustainability. So whilst we saw a drop in sales year on year, in terms of revenue, we actually saw that increase. And it was just quite interesting to see, to be honest, to see that the people that were doing the sales didn't necessarily perform as well as compared to other clients that are focusing more on the charitable gifting instead.
Yeah, I think also earlier, Lauren, you mentioned about stock being an issue. I bought on ASOS when I made that order. A week later, they then communicated to me that they actually didn't have it in stock, which is really annoying because I was waiting for the product to arrive because I was going on a night out with the girls. So I think like the lack of communication from some merchants around delivery and stock was definitely something I saw. Olivia, is that any did you pick up on anything like that during your experiences or with your clients around supply chain?
None that I've noticed, but we did notice some interesting things. There was something like 42% of all Black Friday orders were on mobile, so it shows a real shift of probably people like me scrolling on their lunch break and ordering online. And it's interesting though that Facebook orders as well grew by 98%. So I think that accounts for all social channels, but Facebook was coming out top on all of them. So I mean, I can definitely mirror that in my own behavior.
So Facebook was even higher than Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see any like sort of difference, Olivia, between Black Friday and Cyber Monday in terms of behavior? So we actually found that more merchants sold on Black Friday, but then the click conversion was actually higher on Cyber Monday. So there were like people had a bigger intent to buy on Monday.
Yeah.
Like, did you see any sort of differences in terms of behavior across the 2 different days?
I think it's similar for us, and I think the importance here is a lot of people were browsing on Black Friday and they were trying to hold out until they got a better deal maybe on the Monday, and then eventually I think panic buying by the end of Monday, realizing that the discounts were either going down or going up. And
Sorry, interrupt. On the flip side of that, we actually saw more loyalty points redeemed and rewards claimed on the Friday than the Monday, which is interesting given that we're sort of purely e-commerce loyalty programs. You'd have expected Cyber Monday to outperform Black Friday. So I thought that was a really interesting shift this year.
And with and one for you, Ollie, what do you think is going to happen over the next few weeks?
Naturally, in industries where it's not maybe a gifting industry, there's a bit of a lull once the Black Friday hits or finishes, should I say. And so then a few weeks before Christmas, that those types of businesses typically kind of they roll back a little bit because it's just not the same demand for those types of products. Talking again like mattresses, beds, bathrooms, that kind of thing, because everybody's focused on getting the gifts ready for Christmas. But then what happens is like Boxing Day sales are notorious in those industries, and therefore into January and New Year. So that's the real big thing. So they kind of roll back a little bit in these next few weeks, and then kind of really go to scale from like literally Boxing Day onwards. But then on the flip side of that, where you're in an industry where it is about gifting and it is about the opportunity to buy presents for people, then those types of businesses still kind of flourish up until the last known delivery dates. And so it's quite a sustained push from Black Friday. Black Friday is kind of like the instigating part of it, and people take advantage of the deals when they can. And then in them industries where it's still about gifting, people still continue to purchase until they can't get the delivery on time for Christmas Day, for example.
And how about you, Lauren? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so a lot of our clients are already really focusing on gifting, and we're seeing it work really well. So it's definitely something that we're pushing for all of our other clients. In particular, bundles, so product bundles are becoming really big. And as Ollie mentioned, I think that especially over the next few weeks, whilst it might not be as big as Black Friday and Cyber Monday, gifting is still really big. And a lot of things that our clients are doing is pushing towards those final shipping dates. And I do think that people will then actually go into store in that final period when you've missed the shipping date, but you still need those gifts and all that last minute shopping. So I think for now it will still remain online, and then leading up to the last week of Christmas, I think there'll probably be a bigger push going in store. Obviously, saying that, given the environment where the stores will currently be open, then hopefully, and then likewise in terms of after Boxing Day, when you have that sort of Q5 period, whereabouts it's all about pushing those Boxing Day sales. I think that'll also be another really big time, and hopefully to bring people back in store. But I imagine a lot of people will be shopping online, even from Christmas Day. I remember seeing that last year, we did see higher than usual activity on Christmas Day, especially come the evening.
After I finished my Christmas dinner and had a few glasses of wine, I tend to go on the laptop and see what offers. That's definitely, I can resonate with that. And how about you, Olivia? Any predictions for the remainder of the month?
In terms of our merchants, though, we saw roughly around 40% of orders via buy now, pay later solutions. So I think in the lead up till Christmas, there's going to be a lot of returns, and then I think this trend is going to continue after. So after Christmas, as long as our retailers have a good return strategy in place and they've got the returns policies within an extended window, I think they should be all right.
Yeah, I think, probably it's very ironic I'm talking about Pangaea being really environmental, and then I've got bags of ASOS, which I'm probably going to send half of them back. But when you do buy, it's with the buy now, pay later, you can buy different sizes, different colors. It's so convenient to then try everything on and send what you don't want back. So again, that's can resonate with that also. And how about you, Fiona? Any predictions for the rest of the month?
I think you've all covered really interesting things there. I would question whether Christmas Day will be as big this year, because last year Christmas got cancelled for so many people. A lot of people spent it with much smaller family groups, units. You were probably done a lot earlier in the day. I don't think it'll look the same this year at all. What I would say is, I think, you talked, Claudia, about your experience with ASOS and how they didn't communicate around the delivery. I think trust will have been damaged a fair amount over Black Friday with that happening to a lot of people. And if you know that you want to give somebody a gift of some description, and you need to get that before Christmas, you can't necessarily guarantee that you'll be able to get it delivered in time, or that they'll even have it in stock. If you go in store, you know exactly what's there because it's on the shelves in front of you. So I think a lot of people will be pushed in store by virtue of the fact that they need to know exactly what is on offer and that it will be in their hands when they need it. I think that will, push a lot of people to visit stores, even with the pandemic where it is at the moment. But I think this is the perfect time for any retailers to go back to the shoppers that they got over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Go back to them with some messages over this period in between the January sales and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and take them on a journey, help them get to know your brand, help them get to understand who you are and what you represent. And then you'll be able to bring them back potentially without a discount in the new year.
What do you do typically, what do your merchants do typically with customers that have engaged over the Black Friday, Cyber Monday period? What strategies will they then take to, make sure they're coming back for more?
Yeah, we see a lot of people running kind of double points promotions or triple points promotions in the new year. So if you shopped for the first time across Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you created an account, you're now in our loyalty program. Hey, come back and you'll be able to get double, triple points, all that extra stuff, which means you'll just come back and purchase again sooner. We see a lot of people doing kind of referral campaigns around that time as well. If you've had a good experience, tell your friends, you'll get a reward, they'll get a reward. But yeah, those things are great because they negate the need for a discount. So they're great for your bottom line and for your customer relationships, really.
I saw something really interesting on Cult Beauty. I was going to make an order, and instead of offering a 3 to 5 day window of delivery, they offered a 10 to 15 day to make sure that they had the item in stock. And then they offered a 15% discount for you to come back again if you chose the later delivery window.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people doing that.
I found it really interesting.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people doing that with loyalty points. So accept a slightly slower delivery will give you extra points, which makes that so worthwhile. And then you can segment off your VIP customers, and you can actually just offer them next day delivery as standard, because you know that you don't have to worry about fulfilling that for everybody.
I think it's a good way to also make sure you're not disappointing anyone and getting those out of stock messages.
But I think your story about ASOS made me really quite cross, because communication is just so if you don't communicate, you're just killing customer loyalty.
And I mean, like, whilst I am very, very disappointed in them, I'm probably going to go back and shop there more because it's ASOS.
It's the Amazon of fashion, essentially, isn't it?
It's a smaller brand that I maybe shopped on for the first time did that, then I definitely wouldn't go back, interestingly, because it is ASOS, and I love it. I am going to go back for more.
But it baffles me that people didn't learn from that during the pandemic hit, and everybody had loads of orders to fulfill that they weren't used to, volumes that they weren't used to. And at that point, did we not learn that you have to communicate with your customers? So to find that it's still happening is quite disappointing.
It is. Communication is key, I think. And just on last question for you all. Let's start with you, Lauren. What is your advice to retailers now going into 2022? Is there any predictions there? I know we don't have a crystal ball, but I think there's enough brain power on this call to make some solid guesses as to what's going to happen. So over to you, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think for the now and for the rest of December, really focusing on gifting, but also to focus on creatives. I mean, as we've discussed, the likes of socials really got quite big in terms of item discovery and discovering new brands. So really focusing on your creatives if you can for the rest of the year. But also, things like including countdowns to last day shipping, encouraging people to come to store if it is whereabouts you are having stock issues. But then in terms of next year, there's a few key trends that you've noticed across the agency and ones that we're really pushing. So building inclusivity in your creatives as well. Like, for instance, how can you reach a wider audience and demonstrate that? There's a thing as well of I think called creating edutainment. So like educating and entertainment at the same time. So TikTok blew up last year, and it's just continuing to grow. And sort of the format of reels and more user-generated content, having people do reviews, and basically showcasing the brand a bit more and telling your story. So selling the ideas of your brand. And I'd also recommend just trying out a lot of the new features that the platforms are offering. So the likes of Facebook, in terms of its dynamic ads and all its new features, likewise with that with Google. And also just expanding as well. I feel like there's been a lot of reliance on Google and Facebook over the years. And Facebook has just got so much more expensive compared to last year. And there's loads of other channels of opportunity. So the likes of TikTok and Snapchat and Bing, and expanding internationally as well. So I think 2022 should be a year of growth, but growing across your channels, growing across your creative capabilities as well.
I think TikTok is definitely My productivity is shot down since that app's come to market. Like, you can just spend hours like scrolling on it. But I have noticed like people like you can like now buy through TikTok, which I think is becoming quite popular with the younger generation. So yeah, I agree with you on that one. Olivia, over to you. It'd be great to hear your opinion on this one as well.
Yeah, so my advice to retailers, first of all, congrats on closing out another record-breaking Black Friday. You've definitely earned a glass of champagne. As a company, BC had another record, 100% uptime, over 100% of the time for 8 consecutive years. So congrats to all of our merchants who did really well during that period. And I think no matter what vertical, these trends in e-commerce and the shifts in behaviours, like the increase in buy now, pay later, the shift to social, Facebook, and the investment in the different sectors, and also looking at the post-purchase experience and other loyalty initiatives to make sure your customers are coming back. I think all of these trends are going to shift into next year. So it's really important to have the right technology behind you to, as and when you need it, and to be flexible and agile for the years to come.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think the tech side of it is definitely important, and having the right vendors there to support support the ecom platform as well. I think it's a really good point. Ollie,
what I've seen over the last couple of years, I guess obviously 2020 was very unique, but so was 2021 because of us coming out of lockdown. Although I say that, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, but the reason I cite that is because a lot of businesses weren't really digital first back in 2020, and they didn't need to be until that changed. And so they embraced a lot of things quite quickly. Didn't always get that right, and were learning as they went, because they were maybe from a more old school mindset where they had a lot of physical stores, and that's the way the business model worked, and they had to change that. And so then in 2021 they adopted new technologies, new platforms, and they were still getting used to that, and they've got to a stage where they've become more comfortable with that. But now where I think it's going to go is in 2022, they're going to get more mature with what they're doing. Things that Lauren said, things that Olivia said about different channels being used, different technologies being used. I think they've had to embrace it, not being fully comfortable, but not having much choice. And now it's going to be about how you hone in and maximize that and really optimize it and become a more mature business by taking them things on and truly understanding how TikTok might work for your business, or what kind of platform do we need to move from and to, if it's a platform decision, how important loyalty is. That all them kind of things where they've not been really familiar with that for the past 18 months, 2 years, are now going to be really important as to what's going to make that business go from good to great. And I think that it's a good thing from a digital perspective, because now you've got more businesses embracing much more technology, which the audience and the consumers want to kind of interact on. And I think you get a better e-commerce environment as a result. But I think that's what we'll see. We'll see a lot of things kind of beginning to mature for customers or for businesses that have had to learn over the last couple of years. But equally, the ones who are already doing it well, hopefully they can get to an even better place and be the forefront, the front runners of adopting new ideas and technology and in showcasing what e-commerce is really capable of. So hopefully that's what I'm going to see in 2022. It'll be a more normal world, and we'll get some good results.
I really hope so. Yeah, I think on the sort of like old school players adopting new tech, we saw a lot of that in the B2B space, where they really tried to make the shift, but it was like, we don't know what, we don't know what to do here. So I think, definitely moving into next year, they will mature more and maximize the new tech that they've implemented. And lastly, Fiona, what are your thoughts?
I think what'll be most interesting is actually kind of an extension of what Ollie was saying. The people who've managed this transition really well over the last year are now kind of going but the other way. Gymshark's opening a store on Oxford Street, Regent Street. Farfetch have got physical stores. The people who got this right the whole way through, they're now going offline, and they've got omnichannel right. And I can't wait to see actually what that looks like and how inspiring it will be for everybody else who's doing online really well, but has probably not considered that offline might work because they're an e-commerce business. And I think that's going to be really interesting. I think the most important thing is, if you haven't got somebody dedicated to thinking about retention already, then you absolutely need to. Everybody's won a lot more customers in the last 12 months, and you need to be thinking about how you're going to bring those people back, because those people are worth more. I think it's the top 50% of your revenue comes from the top 20% of your customers. So you need somebody thinking about what and how is your broader marketing bringing those people back? How is your technology integrating to make sure that you're retaining those customers and delivering them more personalized experiences? Yeah, if you haven't got somebody who's absolutely accountable for the retention piece at the moment, that's the biggest thing you need to fix before we go into 2022.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the cost of acquiring a customer is so much higher than retaining one. So for sure.
And just getting data on them is so hard with, you know, iOS 14, iOS 15. We've got the cookie apocalypse to look forward to in the next couple of years. So, yeah.
All good fun. Well, yeah, thank you all so much for joining. Maybe next year we can do this in person. Who knows? But yeah, thanks all for your insights. I really, really appreciate it. And have a very, very Merry Christmas. And